Hi, I'm Carrie, a stroke survivor and a Bind member.
And I'm Kezia, a stroke survivor and member of Bind as well. For today's episodes, we are very glad to have the opportunity to meet and introduce to all of our listeners Dr. Driver and Jasmine Herrera Martinez. So Dr. Driver is the Research Center Director for Baylor Scott and White on sports therapy and does research at the STAR in Frisco. He is the project director of North Texas TBI model system and is, oh man, this is going to be so hard to say. Ginger Murchison. Yeah, that was good? Okay, cool. Chair in traumatic brain injuries research. He currently have many different projects, which we will be hearing about, and really main focused on the role of health lifestyle after brain injury. Not only do we have him to talk to, which we're excited about, but we also have Jasmine Herrera Martinez, who is a brain injury survivor and sharing her perspective as an administrator of the TBI Peer Mentor Program at Baylor Scott and White. So thank you guys so much for being here. That was very difficult for me to say, but we're here, so thank you guys for joining us.
Pleasure to be here.
Great.
Yeah, it's great to be here.
Welcome to Bindwaves, the official podcast of the Brain Injury Network of Dallas. I'm Brian White, Bind's Executive Director. On each episode, we'll be providing insight into the brain injury community. We'll be talking to members and professionals regarding their stories and the important role of Bind's Clubhouse. We work as a team to inspire hope, community, and a sense of purpose to survivors, caregivers, and the public. Thank you for tuning into Bindwaves. Let's get on with the show.
Great. So we're going to try to handle this as a group conversation. So any questions both of you guys can definitely answer, whatever it is. But just to get to know both of you guys a little bit, Dr. Driver, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, and just so we get to meet you a little bit better and also our listeners?
Yeah, my name's Simon. You can probably tell by my accent that I'm not from Texas. I was originally born in England and did my undergraduate degree in exercise science there, and then moved over to America, the US, for graduate school. Loved it, fell in love, stayed. I started, once I graduated with my PhD, I started as an assistant professor at the University of North Texas and worked there for 8 years, and started collaborating with Baylor Institute for Rehabilitation. And then at the kind of around 2014, they created a position for director of research, and I was invited to take that role. And for the last 10 years, I've been working there building a research program. So that's a little bit about me professionally. I'm married. I said I fell in love. We fell in love in grad school. Her name's Erin. We have a son, Julian. A big soccer fan. I love electronic dance music. Not many people probably know that. Yep. We went to Red Rocks in Colorado last weekend to see my favorite band, Above and Beyond. And I'm really happy to be here with Jasmine.
Cool. Well, thanks, Dr. Driver. And since we're talking about that, hi, Jasmine, welcome. And I'm glad that Kezia did the introductions, because I would not have been able to roll those R's like that. I am pure Texan, so there's no rolling of R's over here. But so if you can tell us a little bit about you and your injury, and then how you work with Dr. Driver, that would be great.
So I had my injury in 2014. I had it be a vehicular accident. I had 7 strokes, 2 seizures, because I was internally decapitated. Luckily, Baylor was there and they saved me. I have a neck fusion. I am legally blind with progressive retina degeneration. So I will be blind within the next couple of months, if not in a year. But really what I do at Baylor is I help with the research. So I'm part of the TBI Peer Mentor Program as one of the administrators. So I do a lot of the research and help find any type of resources that anybody might need, whether that be resources for finances or support groups or different types of equipment needed. And also I am working with Dr. Driver on some of his studies with healthy lifestyle after brain injury.
That's great. Now, I have a quick question to follow up on your injury. What do you mean internally decapitated? I mean, that sounds absolutely horrifying.
It is. So it kind of reminds me of Harry Potter. So, you know, headless Nick. So it's where the C1, C2, and C4 vertebrae were completely gone. So I pretty much, when they took me out of the car, my head literally hit my back.
Ooh.
So there was nothing there. And unfortunately, my family had to see that, and particularly my mom had to see that happen. So that's pretty much, so they had to do makeshift and put bolts and screws, and I have a metal plate as well in my head.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Interesting.
Yeah, that must be very difficult. I definitely connected with you with saying that your mother had to see that. That was something very difficult for my mom too, to see me the way that I was, like, after having a stroke. Definitely not that bad, because that sounds very terrible. But yeah, it's difficult, like, for family for sure. And then, do you remember what it felt like or what it looked like?
No, I don't remember what it felt like. I do remember waking up a couple of weeks after the coma and remember having them stick, like, this ointment on the scar from after the surgery. And I was like, quit touching that. That feels so gross. And I remember I would touch it. And still to this day, I still touch it. But just because it gets itchy and the hair grows, but it falls out.
Oh,
so
interesting.
that's pretty much it. But
Yeah.
not much.
Yeah.
I don't mind it too much. I like to watch people, especially during Halloween, because that's when it gets cold. And so the metal back there gets stiff. So it starts to pop on its own when I move. And people freak.
Really?
They're like, oh, because
my
it's
God.
really loud.
Oh, wow.
Interesting.
That's kind of fun, though. I get that.
Yeah, interesting. So we're really glad to have you both here and just hear different perspectives for sure from a brain injury survivor and also from a doctor, PhD. So that's really good. So Dr. Driver, so I definitely Googled you to try to learn a little bit about what you do. I think it is kind of difficult to understand, especially because, I have a difficult time reading and understanding things. So can you tell us a little bit about your job and how it relates to brain injury survivors?
Yeah, so I'm very fortunate to run the research program at Baylor Institute for Rehabilitation and really broadly oversee research for the continuum of care. So we have projects that are going on in the inpatient hospital, so people who are pretty acute, but we also have projects that are going on in the outpatient setting and then in the community setting. And a lot of my research really focuses on people with more chronic brain injury who have kind of living in the community and are looking for opportunities to kind of lead a healthy lifestyle. And we've really been focusing on creating a program that's evidence-based. It's a modification of the diabetes prevention program. That's a healthy lifestyle program that we're very lucky several of your members here at Bind have kind of gone through previously. And it's really focused on promoting physical activity and healthy eating. And it's a lifestyle change program. So it's helped people integrate physical activity and healthy eating behaviors into their life.
Right, which we all should be doing anyways, but I know as a survivor myself, we don't. We kind of that takes a big backseat, because I know after my stroke, where my stroke happened, it affected my hunger drive. So it'd be like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I'd be like, I don't feel good, what's wrong with me? And I'd be like, I have not eaten today. It's still the same, and if I eat a big breakfast, I don't eat for the rest of the day. And I know that's not healthy, but maybe I need to join your study so I can figure out how to eat better.
That's a really good point. So one of the first pieces that we did was the diabetes prevention program has been around for now about 20 years, but it had never been modified to meet the unique needs of people who've had a stroke or a traumatic brain injury. So that was one of the first things that we did, was get a group of people together who have lived experience and ask them, hey, what are your unique needs? How might we have to modify this program to really work for you? So we spent about a year changing the program to make it tailored to the unique needs of people with brain injury. And then, as from a research standpoint, we had to go through some testing to demonstrate the value of the program and the benefit for the participants.
That's really cool. So what what actually got you interested into the healthy life, that idea of refocusing the model for survivors, brain injury survivors, to eat healthy? What got you excited about that?
Good question. So this actually happened, what are we, 2023? This was over 20 years ago now. I was a graduate student at Southern Illinois University, and my advisor came to me and said, hey, we've got a group of people at a local rehab center who are interested in being active. Is there something we can do for them? I said, sure. I was an exercise science student at the time and thought, yeah, I could build an exercise program. We was at university, so we had a nice gym. We had a great pool. So I set up a program where people could come in 3 days a week, and we had undergraduate students who would help support the participants in the pool or in the gym. And through that experience, I worked with people for kind of 16-week sessions, and I would see them for 1-2 years over time, and really saw all of the benefits that physical activity had on people. People lost weight, people reported they felt better. I saw people developing relationships with each other. There were so many different benefits, and going from reading about these benefits in books and journals to actually experiencing it with people was really meaningful for me. So then as a student who wanted to pursue a career in research, it really became my passion to want to pursue that, to see the benefit and make sure that these types of programs were more broadly available for people in the community.
That's great.
Yeah, I think that's super interesting, and like realizing that the community like completely is different than being in the hospital and like meeting people that are in different kinds of needs. So thank you so much for that perspective. I do want to take a little minute break and then just remind our followers to make sure to continue checking out on Thursdays for our podcast. And then also, if you guys ever need more questions or have different kind of topics that you would like to hear about, make sure to contact us at bindwaves@thebind.org.
And don't forget to click that like button.
Yep. So that's really good. So a lot of our members here at Bind, one way to continue being involved in the podcast and like continue learning, a lot of the perspectives that are from brain injury survivors is that a lifestyle that's healthy depends on food. So please correct us if we're wrong with that. I know that my perspective, I think that there's a lot of things like physical, mental, emotional, and like obviously your diets are needed to really like be able to balance correctly. So if you guys need to fix us on that stuff, please do. Please do. We got a lot of our questions from brain injury survivors, so that's the thoughts. But I think that, I think for both of you here, it was great to hear how you have been really interested on it and what made you be interested in brain injury survivors and how the research is important. But how about you? What got you here, Jasmine? Or like with Dr. Driver and doing the work that you're doing?
Well, what got me here was actually that it was Dr. Driver's team that reached out to me. So it was Evan and Stephanie. They reached out to me about being a part of the Peer Mentor Program. And so that program offers the ability to reach out to individuals that are in the hospital, reach out to other individuals in the community to help them build a community within itself. Because, as you know, brain injury is such an exclusive community that only we can understand. No one really understands unless you've been through this. And so that program aims to support and unify us and, help us as we go through this recovery, to help individuals who are beginning the process by giving them that guidance from others individuals that have been through this. And so I loved it when I first started, and I still love it. I still love going and visiting all the people and talking with them and finding different resources, whether that be, like I said, for finding help with mortgage payments because they're falling behind with the hospital bills, or any type of assistance with equipment. So that's how I actually got involved. And then they reached out to me about the GLB study before COVID happened. And I was like, yes, definitely. Of course, I was a lot heavier back then. And I was like, yeah, I would definitely do it. And so I was part of it. Can't remember what cohort I was part of. But in that first 3 months, I remember losing about 40 pounds. And I was so happy. I ended up having to get surgery because we found out that I had a medical issue of a gallbladder stone.
Oh.
That was, my whole gallbladder was pretty much full. And they said, if you had not lost the weight, you would have never known. And I was like, oh, well, that's great to know. And, it's because of this program, because of my healthy eating. And I keep up these healthy eatings. And so, unfortunately, with COVID, I did gain some of that weight back. But the good thing about the GLB program is this program is not just a program. It's not a diet. It's a lifestyle change.
Right.
So I was able to still keep those patterns up and re-implement some of the older things, get my binder back out. And so I re-implemented it back in, and I'm back on losing that weight again. So that's why I told Dr. Driver, I was like, Dr. Driver, I'm doing it again. I'm getting back to my goals. I'm re-implementing it again.
That's great. And I like what you said, because we have, around here, we say that too. No one gets a brain injured like another brain injured. The doctors, the therapist, they all understand, or they think they understand, but they don't. They understand what the books tell them. They understand what our problems are, but they don't really understand. Mm-hmm. Only a brain injured gets a brain injured. But talking about the foods and kind of how you work towards losing weight, are there certain foods that are better to help to promote health for brain injury survivors? Are there things to help the brain? I guess, are there specific foods that we can focus on better that will provide more nutrition that we need that maybe we're not getting?
Mm-hmm. So a lot of those would be like the healthy nuts, the fruits and oils. So like the cashews, the peanuts, those sesame nuts, sesame seeds, olive oils, that extra virgin olive oil. So those are those healthier oils, healthier fats. And so being mindful of those and incorporating those in your diet, kind of staying away from those fattier ones like butter or margarine, and just watching those other butters like peanut butter, like finding those more healthier options like almond butter, cashew butter that have a a lesser fat content, I guess you could say, and a lesser sugar, and watching the sodium and everything, and just being mindful of what you're actually putting into yourself.
Yeah, I think healthy oils. So Jasmine mentioned several. I think things like avocados, healthy oil, and salmon. These are all good for your brain health, whether you like it or not, whether you like the taste or not. They're good, healthy oils.
No, it's a texture thing for me.
Okay, well, one thing I did want to say from the last conversation about how unique brain injury is and kind of each brain injury being different, one of the things that I've found has been really important for our research program is to have people like Jasmine who have had a brain injury involved in our program, so that we're not, so we're including the ideas and backgrounds and opinions of people who have that lived experience. That's really been very important for our program. So having Jasmine and others informing our research is absolutely critical.
I think that's amazing that y'all are including other brain injury survivors in that, because you're absolutely right. You can't get true feedback or get true research if you're not at least involving those that you're trying to target. Makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah.
And I just want to say, guys, we have so many more questions that we want to talk to y'all about, but we are running out of time. So we're going to ask you to come back another time so we can do an episode 2, but we so appreciate you being here at this time. We're already learning so much, like I said, and I'll think about the salmon, but
we'll think about that. What don't you like?
I don't like, it's a texture. I don't like any, I like
aguacate?
No, salmon.
Oh,
fish. I don't like fish. The texture of fish is just not for me.
It's delicious.
I mean, I'll eat shrimp. I like crawfish, but
it's delicious.
We can work on avocados and nuts.
Oh, I like avocados and nuts.
Okay,
I'm good with, I'm a little concerned about that peanut butter is not good. How peanuts are good, but
it is to an extent. You just have to be cautious of how much you eat.
Okay, I don't eat a lot of peanut butter, but occasionally, a peanut butter spoon here or there. It's just good.
I think I made a face. I was like, that's like my favorite.
I know.
Peanut butter's good. Let's get that straight.
Okay,
okay,
but there are better
there's
alternatives.
There's some that have sugar added, and
Okay.
there's some that have extra sodium added. So you just have to read the label. It's
Okay.
like with most
Yeah.
foods.
Sure.
There's an app, and I think I can probably include it into description, but there's an app that when I go grocery shopping, I scan it and it tells me like how good it is, like a red or like a yellow and green. If it's green, it's like, okay, I'll get that one. But it's,
I love that. Lots of great technology out there to support healthy eating.
yeah. So before we move on, I do want to make sure that our listeners have you as a resource. So what is the best way to contact both of you, and what can we have listeners kind of refer to you for?
So listeners can contact me through our Baylor email. So we do have the TBI Peer Mentor email, which is actually just tbipeermentor@bsw.org, or they can also reach me at my personal Baylor email, which is jasmine.herrera-martinez@bswhealth.org. And they can reach me there at any time, whether it be questions about resources or the TBI Peer Mentor Program, or any questions that they have about the GLB program as well.
Oh, great. We will definitely be including these in our description below.
Yeah, same with me, simon.driver@bswhealth.org. I'm picturing it scrolling along the bottom of a screen here or just popping up. But yeah, please reach out if you have any questions.
Yeah, perfect. Again, thank you guys so much for being here. It felt extremely short, so I really hope that soon we can see you guys again. That was a lot of great information and a lot of great information for our listeners. So again, thank you for being here, and thanks to our listeners for listening to us every Thursday. We will be sharing all the contact information like in our description, as I've said before.
And then also, again, if you want to contact us, if you forget their emails or you don't find it in the description, don't forget you can email us at bindwaves@thebind.org, and we can get it forwarded over to the appropriate person. And then don't forget to follow us as well on Bindwaves on Instagram. And then you can visit us at our website at www.thebind.org/bindwaves.
And also like, share, subscribe to us on your favorite platform, and just hit that notify on YouTube where you see our faces.
And again, every Thursday you'll find new episodes. So thank you for taking your time out for us today, and until next time.
Until next time.
We hope you've enjoyed listening to Bind Waves and continue to support Bind and our nonprofit mission.
We support brain injury survivors as they reconnect into the life, the community, and their workplace.
And we couldn't do that without great listeners like you. We appreciate each and every one of you. Continue watching. Until next time.
Until next time.